In today's episode, we're talking through how Rain Organica got B Corp certification. And specifically, what we're focusing on today is the sustainability practices here at Rain Organica. The reason why we're doing this is because this, I think, will help you as a consumer understand where brands are coming from when they are clean skincare, eco-conscious skincare, green skincare. Like this goes beyond the marketing. This is what's going on the backside of that. And of course, you as a savvy consumer know that it's not enough merely to look at the front label of a skincare product and decide based on, the jargon there, whether a company is truly clean, sustainable, um, and green. So it's all coming down to the ingredients list. It's all coming down to what's going on behind the scenes during making those ingredients and honestly, even in procuring those ingredients. So that's why we're having this conversation today to give you a little behind the scenes look. This is peeling back the curtain of what it means to be truly sustainable in the realm of skincare. So here at Rain Organica, I really practice a seed to consumer view of sustainability. And what this means is that the ingredients that I'm using here at Rain Organica didn't arrive from the ether, right? Like I didn't conjure these up. I actually purchased them and had them shipped to me. And because of that, that means these ingredients were all grown somewhere. And really, when we're talking about skincare and when we're talking specifically about clean skincare, there are three ways that ingredients are made. So the first way is ingredients are made with minimal processing. What this looks like is things like botanical oils. So botanical oils typically are, when we're talking clean skincare, they are pressed from the fruit in order to get the oil. So here where we're talking, you may think olive oil, you may think argan oil. So it's pressed from the nut. The nut itself is pressed and the oil is expelled. This is why it's known as expeller pressing. To give you a little bit of an idea, because you likely have heard of the term cold pressed. Cold pressed is the act of expeller pressing where the temperature is controlled. Because what happens is that during expeller pressing, this is often, you can think of two really heavy plates, and it's really cool. There's actually some images over at Rain Organica with old timey manual expeller pressing, and this is where you would take, this is where two large concrete wheels are placed and people would actually turn a crank to move that wheel on top. So the bottom wheel stays stationary. Your olives are placed in between the two plates, and then the top wheel is lowered, and people would actually crank that top wheel to move it around and crush the olives. And this would expel the oil. And then it's the way that it's angled, it's so that the oil is then collected in a basin below the expeller. So what happens during that, you may imagine, is that you get a lot of friction. You've got two big concrete plates turning on each other. So you're generating a ton of friction. And in that process, friction, of course, produces heat. So cold pressing with some of these highly labile oils like pumpkin seed oil, evening primrose oil, ones that have high quantity or a high concentration of PUFAs. So those are those polyunsaturated fatty acids. Those are extremely sensitive to heat. And so you want cold pressed, which implies it's expeller pressed with, again, temperature control. So there's also another way that oils can be collected, and this is with solvent extraction. This is not something that we do not use solvent extracted oils here at Rain Organica. Any clean skincare brand will not use solvent extracted oils. They will use either cold pressed or expeller pressed. Solvent extraction typically involves the solvent hexane in order to extract the oils, and then that hexane is removed through some kind of solvent removal process to leave behind the oil. Now, the problem with solvent extraction is you always have a little bit of residual hexane or residual solvent because it's not always hexane, it's just often hexane. And you don't want to be eating that, you don't want to be putting that on your skin. So that is minimal processing. The other minimally processed ingredients used here at Rain Organica are herbs. And here I'm talking amla, so that's synonymous with Indian gooseberry. Amla is beginning to get in the limelight. It is an Ayurvedic herb. It contains like the highest concentration of natural vitamin C on the planet. Indian madder root is another one. Let's see, why am I drawing a blank here? Guduchi, which is Indian moonseed. There are several others as well. Alodra is another one used here at Rain Organica. So all of those would be minimally processed. And that is literally taking the herb and grinding it into a fine powder, or just taking the herb and grinding it, but maybe not necessarily pulverizing it into a fine powder, but rather leaving it, partially intact. So you can think of like mint leaves, but they're all exactly the same size. So whatever kind of processing that looks like, and it's just kind of homogenizing, or homogenizing really isn't even the right word. Uniformly chopping the herb to make it all the same size. And then, of course, it's dried before whatever pulverizing technique is used, whether that's powderization or whether it's large particle